Hi everyone. In this video, I wanted to talk about training sessions at professional services firms and why they often fail. So, I'm going to talk about the training sessions that are aimed at changing the behaviors at the firm and not the ones that are aimed at training new skills. Looking into the literature and according to my own observations, attendees that often don't see the goal behind training sessions, like why we're here, what are we trying to achieve. And this in part is due to the failure of the management to communicate this. So even if employees are aware of the topic of the let's say training session or a seminar, it isn't always obvious what the outcomes are going to be and how um, having attended a training session would affect in a positive way an individual employee that have attended it. So if you can just think for yourself, right? If you are attending a seminar or a training session and you don't see reasons behind it, like for yourself, like if we're going to improve something and I have no idea what are we improving here, I'm just I was just told to attend, then of course it would be considered a waste of time, right? And since it is, then whatever information is coming your way, you're either going to reject it or you're just not going to pay attention to that. So that's the first reason. The second reason is a suspected hypocrisy. So what I mean by this is that whenever, let's say, management doesn't themselves attend the seminar or training session, or let's say employees know that management actually behaves contrary to what is being described at those training seminars and sessions. And especially if management is not participating themselves or if they're late to these seminars, this sends a signal to employees that, well, first of all, it's not there that important for the management themselves. And then, of course, if management acts contrary and they're not there, then of course whatever is being taught, people will consider this to be hypocritical on behalf of the management, right? Because well, here's a nice theory, and we're supposed to adhere to what is being trained here. That's why you've sent us here. But you yourself, the leadership, the management, you're not here, and we know that you're acting contrary to what's being told. So if there is a sense of hypocrisy, then well, there is no way the attendees are going to adhere to the principles and standards of this new proposed changes in behavior, right? The third reason is potential conflicts. And by that, I mean uh, conflicts with, let's say, policies or performance appraisal systems or systems that are in place at the firm. So let me give you an example. If you have a sales rep and you tell them, or a customer service rep, or account manager for that matter, and you would encourage them to uh, do their best to make clients happy, and there might come a time that uh, they would have to reimburse a client for services rendered partially, or maybe the client wasn't satisfied. But then your policies or uh, your appraisal systems would actually penalize um, this account manager or sales rep for giving too many discounts or for not attaining certain budgetary figure. And so, whenever there is a conflict between what you want your people to do and what people are incentivized to do, like what are the rewards, penalties, and things like that, then people will tend to avoid being penalized, and therefore, whatever your hopes are in terms of improving certain aspects, then, well, they're not going to be improved, obviously, right? Because, okay, the next one is lack of rapport. So often it is the case that the coaches and trainers that come into the firm to talk about the change in the behaviors, these are often strangers to attendees. It is the first time that they meet these trainers and coaches, and so therefore the question is, why should we listen to you? We don't know you. Um, and what's more important is that whatever you're teaching us or coaching us to do, well, it's obviously just a nice theory. Maybe it had worked some time ago for someone else, but you don't know us. um, you haven't spent time with us. And in particular, each and every single individual would have this thought in the back of their minds that, well, you don't know me personally, you don't know my challenges, you don't know my situation, and therefore, whatever theory you're putting out there is just, well, a theory, right? It's not applicable to my situation because you haven't heard about my particular situation. So, what management can do in this case is they could encourage those trainers and coaches to spend some time prior to the actual seminar or training session with the attendees in order to get to know them um, personally, right? And to have a chance to talk to one another. Maybe send them a questionnaire or something like that. So the next one would be other priorities. What I mean by other priorities is, for instance, if these training sessions are occurring at the expense of a billable time, or maybe there is a project that is due, maybe there's a hard deadline that's probably not going to be met, or people will have to spend a weekend and spend some of their personal time because of this training seminar. So um, this isn't going to be what helpful to people because, well, sitting there in a chair listening to a coach, um, still there's this thought in the back of your mind that, well, I still have that deadline, right? And whatever you're doing here, whatever you made me listen to, is just making things more complicated for me, right? And so the attention isn't going to be there. Person will be thinking of something else rather than focusing on what's being coached. Another reason why training sessions fail is little to none follow-up. What management has to think about is create a set of actions, or maybe work with the trainer or coach to um, create a program that would run after the training session has been conducted. The changes in behavior have to become habitual. And in order to do that, there has to be some sort of a process that helps people to actually embody these actions through daily activities. The final reason why training sessions fail is ambiguity about consequences. When it isn't clear what the consequences of, let's say, not attending the session is or are, if if the attendee doesn't fully understand what happens if they fail to adopt this newly um, posed behavior, then um, it just creates additional stress for people, right? Because there's ambiguity. And what management can do is to articulate um, not only how the training sessions are going to help people to become better with their daily routines, but also explain what the consequences are, like the positive and the negative, so that there's no ambiguity. That's uh, that's helpful. So, what makes a good training session? First of all, well, for change to happen, the attendees have to be really interested in changing something about themselves, right? So uh, they're eager to to improve themselves and to improve their daily routines. So whenever an attendee is actually interested in becoming better, then there's a greater chance that the training session will actually be successful. Another thing that helps is that since the training sessions are usually imposed on employees by the management, it is better for the management to actually participate themselves and be the first ones to embrace that change and to lead by example. Um, Employees would always get encouraged by seeing management making those first risky steps. When managers help the coaches and act as impartial assistants to those coaches, it sends a message to employees that this change is going to help you because look, this has helped me. And it also works great when the manager has been appointed from the ranks of the employees, so that employees know that uh, our manager knows the stuff, right? So the manager is aware of our challenges and problems because he or she used to be a regular employee, like a junior professional, for instance, and now he's a senior, and now he's a manager, so he knows our challenges, and if he or she suggests that this session is important, uh, there's probably something to it, right? So we should listen. Which brings another important aspect to this is that managers are capable of becoming great coaches themselves. And since there is rapport and since there's probably some respect, um, attendees of these training seminars would actually listen because they know that the person knows he or she is talking about. Right. And then the last one is the incentives so that people are not punished on the one hand for attending these seminars in any way. So, like I mentioned, the policies and performance appraisal systems. But then on the other hand, they're also incentivized to um, to implement the newly acquired knowledge. Well, there's that. Now, how do you test if the upcoming seminar or training session is going to be successful? Well, one thing you can do, you can send out a poll to your employees, the ones that you think should attend, and ask them, like, here are the dates, here's the subject, here are the potential outcomes, here's why we think this is important for you. What do you think? Right? So maybe people will tell you that the dates aren't great. Maybe they're all busy. Maybe they would think that this isn't important. So if you communicate and involve your employees in making the decision about the training session, it's probably going to be a bigger success than if the training session is just imposed on your employees. Another test that you can apply is to announce that the training session is going to be for a fee. It doesn't have to be pricey, but you have to communicate that those who will attend will have to pay, right? And let's say it's going to cost an attendee $20, for instance. And if their salary is, I don't know, 8,000, for instance, for a month, and the fee for a training session is $20, it's not a big deal, right? But it's their money. And so if no one is going to apply, that means that there is no interest because people would pay $20 for a training session that's going to help them, right? And of course, you can later decide to, let's say, either reimburse that fee that the employee had paid, or you can just pull that money, some chef-made snacks, or cocktails, or you can be creative about it. And the point here is that you want the attendees to be eager to attend, uh, and once they've attended, you want them to be super happy about it, right? So that they are excited about the next training session, and so they would also tell their colleagues about how great of experience that was, so that there is more of a buy-in next time, and maybe they would also encourage other people to join. So these were some of the things I wanted to share with you about training sessions and how, and well, probably and hopefully you would pick something up and make your next training sessions at your firm uh, more successful, so that when you're aiming to um, make some changes happen, and especially changes in the behavior of your employees, you would know that there are certain levers you can pull to improve your chances of actually uh, making that change happen. All right. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye.